where we're glad to have you here with us, and we would like to speak with you about e-learning and the CSA movement. And we sort of this session more like a, more like a casual maybe discussion, and to exchange experiences between each others. And to see what kind of potentials we see. For us, it's important here as urgency, because as you will see in a few minutes, we'll present what we're doing at the moment. And it's really interesting for us to hear maybe from outside, what kind of needs are there, and what we could do to fill these gaps in. So thank you very much for joining. And my name is Natalie, as you can see. I'm the training coordinator from Urgency.
Yes, thanks, Natalie. And I'm Sam. I work closely with Natalie on the training at Urgency, and I'm the pedagogical designer. So together we collaborate on projects, and as well as a sort of broader strategy for Urgency when it comes to training. So we were brought on to kind of complement the existing history and rich sort of complex variety of training approaches that Urgency has provided for many years, and bring more of a digital dimension to the training approaches, which we're going to share with you all today. I think what we'd like to do first is share our approach to e-learning development. And we've actually created a very quick and fun video that breaks down kind of the steps that we go through when we're developing a specific course to put on our e-learning platform. So I think what we can do is just share this video with you all.
And then we are aware I hope everybody's comfortable with reading English, because we only have it in English, unfortunately.
There it is. It's as easy as that.
Thank you very much for the interpreter to translate that. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very
much. In the channel.
Thank you, Eva. Axel is actually asking me if I can help with some technical issues in a different parallel session. So Nat, maybe if you want to walk through the platform itself,
yeah.
And afterwards we can move into looking at one of the courses.
Okay, let's do that. Good luck. Okay, maybe what we can do first is to see if you now, after watching this, if you have any question to that process, or if you can share any experience, if you've done any e-learning yourself.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that Urgency had e-learning, so I'm really excited about that. And I would like to understand better, like, what is it about? Is it about how do I create a CSA, or you also create courses about other subjects related to that? And I'm part of the Brasilia CSA network in the capital of Brazil. We have 40 CSAs in the city, and we have done presential courses in person. And after the pandemics, we were thinking about online e-learnings, but we are still in the planning phase. And then another question for you would be, I don't know if we could have any support on that, because you have a lot of resources. And I guess the biggest challenge is to translate not only to Portuguese, but also to adapt to the reality of our communities. So a few questions to start.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Fernanda. So the thing is, so the e-learning part of Urgency is quite new. As Sam said, we joined actually both together Urgency in last year in November. So specifically to develop this platform. So it is not yet live. It is, we will share the live version in a few days. We're working very hard on it. And the idea behind it is really to, first of all, to do courses about CSAs and how to build CSAs, how to engage eaters in your CSA, but we also are covering other areas. So we have a few different thematic areas. One is agroecology as well. Another one would be territorial food systems, community supported fisheries, and land and food policies. So we have quite these areas correspond actually to the priorities of urgency that we have as an organization. So obviously we would try to do courses in those priority areas. And our idea is for the moment, unfortunately, we will only have English courses, but what you were just saying about, the adapting it to the realities of the different contexts is really important. in all of those areas, actually, in all of those priority areas. So that will be the next step in our evolution. And we would like to, this platform, we want it to be as an open source resource for all our network as well, so that you as an organization, we could support you in creating a course and running it through our platform, because we realize how much money it costs to, you know, to have such a platform, to run it, how much resources you need actually. So for us, it is important to hear from our network members what are your needs and how can we support you in that. So this is part of the process, and we hope that in the next few years we can develop that together with partners. So I'd be really interested then to, you know, this session also for us is a bit to create links between us, so we can see, okay, with whom could we start working together and start thinking, and you know, how can this collaboration look like? How can you use the platform? Can we just train you to use the platform and then you develop your own courses? You know, these are all open questions at the moment, but which we really would like to answer actually. So it's still quite open, but yeah, it is meant to be a tool for the whole movement. I hope I answered. Did I answer all of your questions? I'm not sure. Yes, please, Marcia.
Sorry, now it's not mute. My question is, I learned about CSA just a few weeks ago. And then some days ago, I learned about this conference, and then I enrolled. But I'm not linked to any CSA. I just follow the Instagram of some CSA groups. So my question is this e-learning going to be available just for people who are a part of the CSA groups, or will they be widely available? And then how can I get engaged and working on some CSA groups from where I am? That's another question. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So it is, as I said, an open source, and it is free education, and we want it to be open to anyone. So it's not just for network members. The platform will be available online for everyone to learn about CSA and to engage in the courses. And to your second question, I think the best way for you is to, if you we have regional and country-specific national networks, CSA networks, and to get in touch with them and to see who's, you know, where's your closest CSA, and you know, have a visit to the farm, get to know, you know, the community. I think that's usually the best step to take. And you say you're already following a few online, so that might be already contact points for you. But there is a CSA network in UK, and they're actually quite active as well. They do a lot of events as well, as far as I know. And so I'm sure if you get in touch with them, they'll be happy to help you out.
Yes, absolutely. And we have, you know, a very close relationship with Susie, who's the UK CSA coordinator. And, you know, she would also be very happy to engage new members, interested members, so long as you're staying in the UK, that is. Or if you're going back to Brazil, then Ariel would gladly help you.
I'll be here at least for some time, maybe a year even, or longer.
Okay. I apologize for dropping out, but that issue has been solved, so we're back. I caught a little bit of the conversation around the creation of the courses, and I think that there's no better way to kind of demonstrate what we're attempting to do than by actually showing what we're doing. So our video kind of demonstrates the process itself, which we've really created. It's a good way to show anyone what the steps that we go through to create these digital courses that include this synchronous or live session with a cohort of participants. But it was mainly created for partners with whom we're working on specific projects. But I think it's best to actually walk through a demo of what the courses will ultimately look like. So I think I want to share that with everyone. Just make sure I can. Do we all see this link here in the chat? It should be a public link for a course. And I will share my screen as well. So here we are inside of our e-learning course. So this is an e-learning course about e-learning. So obviously our e-learning courses will not be about e-learning usually. They'll be about our specific projects, whether it's we're working on some at the moment that involve food citizenship and becoming a food citizen, land advocacy. I think Natalie had mentioned about the CSFs, the community supported fisheries. We're also working on more of a human rights approach to hunger in Europe. So we have a number of ongoing projects at the moment. So this is just to show the actual, what the course sort of layout will look like. So if we start our course here, we have e-learning and urgency. So welcome to the module. We hope that this provides a clear glimpse into our approach of online training and how this training can support the Mediterranean Caravan. So this was actually created a couple of weeks ago for a different project, supporting our partners in the Mediterranean. So the module itself will often have, or will almost always have, what we're calling learning objectives. So we take a pretty serious approach to the pedagogy that we integrate in the build of the actual courses. Sorry, someone's coming in. So that includes, of course, learning objectives, or things that we expect our participants to take away from our courses. So in this module, we hope that you'll learn what informs and motivates our courses, the principles and values embedded in the pedagogy. You'll be able to explore the hub with Natalie and the LMS, where the digital community of learning will be hosted and will be cultivated. Understand the role of SMEs, which we saw briefly in the Apple video, or subject matter experts, not small or medium enterprises. I know that many people get confused with the SME, and you know, it means small and medium-sized enterprises, but for our purposes, it means subject matter experts. And then understand the Apple process, which we just walked through. So this text that you're reading here in all of our courses is what's called the narrative text, and it's the voice of the course. So our courses are made up of two components, asynchronous components and synchronous components. And what you're looking at here is the asynchronous component, which means that you're doing it as a participant on your own with your own device. And at times that can feel a little bit isolating, or at least we're imagining, based on our own experience with e-learning, that sitting alone at your computer can be a little bit isolating. And one of the ways we're trying to bridge that gap is with what we're calling this narrative voice. So it's the voice of the course. It gently, kind of compassionately, with engagement, walks the learner through the session, providing a bridge between the learning activities. So when you see text like this, we're imagining that you're thinking of the facilitator or the mentor speaking directly to you as the learner. So I think we'll look at a few of our activities involved. So we have photos that we can integrate in. When it comes to the course structure, like I just said, we have both asynchronous and synchronous sessions of learning. And in most cases, the courses themselves will run for 6 weeks. So that'll include 3 live sessions, so sessions on a Zoom workshop, and 3 weeks with online modules. So as the video stated, we're trying to recruit these cohorts of learners. And again, this is part of our pedagogy, where instead of just opening up these courses publicly to anyone to be participated in whenever they please, which they will be, as Natalie said. It will be open source, it will be available publicly eternally, but we want to create designated spaces of these 6-week periods where we're actually recruiting around 12 to 15 people to participate as a group, as a community, to meet together, to work together, to do projects together, as a way to kind of enhance the learning and to put a little bit more of a focus on it, and instead of just having online modules that you're going through alone. Here's some more of the kind of activities that you can find inside the courses. So in the first live session of our courses, oops, sorry, there we go. It's designed to bring the cohort together with the facilitators and the mentors of the SMEs who are going to help run the course, introduces the content of the course, provides best practices for learning in an online environment, and then also breaks the ice. So it gets, brings in some activities that bring people together, make sure that everyone knows each other, that we can start developing this intimacy within a cohort. And then the asynchronous sessions, so the online sessions, we're in one right now. That's what this is. The online modules, they allow the learners to move through the material at their own pace during the week, which accommodates busy schedules, which we all have. So we design these courses with adult learners in mind who have families, obligations, all kinds of other things that they need to do in the week. So we design the courses to last only between 60 and 90 minutes each week. So we're asking for a dedicated space of about an hour to an hour and a half of self-paced learning, and then about an hour to an hour and a half of live sessions together with the cohort. So again, part of our pedagogy, imagining adult learners, imagining these busy schedules, and attempting to keep it manageable, but keep it engaging at the same time. And then in the live sessions, which I think is where we really can start developing a bond within this community and furthering this mission of ours to create a community of learning. So we'll have these live sessions with the entire cohort. They're designed to complement and amplify the content in the modules, but also the opportunity to connect with the SMEs who've helped us develop the courses, who provide richness and narratives and all kinds of experience that help to illustrate the concepts and the ideas and the knowledge inside of our courses. And as I said, each session will be about an hour and a half long. So the courses also provide for moments to share documents, to provide a little bit more context on ideas. So here again, we have this sort of narrative text. So you can imagine walking through this course. So can never replace face-to-face training, but this cohort helps to bring the spirit of a community of learning and the participation of experts, trainers, presenters, facilitators, helps to bring a little bit more engagement, a little bit more intimacy, and a little bit more authoritativeness to the courses. Another component of our pedagogy is to make this both inclusive, but to also make it not formative in the sort of academic sense. So the assessments that we're bringing into these courses are not really assessments. Instead, they're sort of fun checks on knowledge that don't come with a sort of performative score that isn't sort of tabulated at the end of the courses. So it's simply a way to get learners to engage with the actual content that they're walking through, and not a way to create sort of a hierarchy of performance. So that's one thing we absolutely wanted to avoid. So the knowledge checks, which is what we're calling them, are a way to just get the learners involved with the content itself. So for example, what's the difference between synchronous and asynchronous learning? Asynchronous learning happens at the learner's pace, and synchronous learning takes place together as a cohort. So you submit this. Correct, that's right. So again, it's not really giving a score. It's not really giving any serious feedback, and it's not creating a record of assessment either. It's just a way to kind of break up the knowledge and break up the content. So what is a cohort? So we have the opportunity to select more than one. And so even when you're wrong, the language itself is not very aggressive. It's just asking you to try again. So again, moving along with this idea of not making this assessment heavy and not putting any real emphasis on the assessment element of the courses. So just in terms of our pedagogy, I think we want to move into the hub discussion quickly, but if I could cover quickly what the kind of pillars of our pedagogy are. So there's an idea of segmentation and scaffolding, experiential learning, tutoring and modeling, effective feedback, and narrative text, which we've already kind of talked about. So what we're really trying to do is bring together some of the more traditional pedagogical principles and then adapt them to this online space, and then of course to our own rich kind of history of training within Urgency and within our other networks as well. So the element of experiential learning, effective feedback, and particularly tutoring and modeling, which is why we're bringing in as many mentors as we can, as many SMEs as we can, to try to bring more of an experience sharing element to particularly the live sessions, in addition to the self-paced modules that you'll find on our platform. So we just walk through really quickly and see some of the other sort of engagement activities that we have on these courses. And here we have our wonderful new Learning Hub. I think what I'll do is I'll stop sharing here. Everyone has the link in the chat, so if you want to walk through the entire module that talks about e-learning, you're more than welcome to. But I think what we should do now is have Natalie explain our lovely hub to us in more detail. So take it away, Natalie.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, so that was just an idea on how we create the courses, and as you can see, there's a lot of thought that went into the whole process of developing the platform, because we are dealing with a certain type of target group, and mostly our target group are adult learners, and they might be farmers, or they might be researchers, or citizens, and we know about the time constraints that people experience. So if you develop an online course, or any course, I would say, these adult learners always have a very specific needs that we need to think about as trainers. And so that went into the thought of how we're going to build those courses. And yeah, as I said, so our platform, as I said earlier at the beginning, our platform is almost there, but we can already share. You will be the first ones to see the preview of our brand new platform that will be online in the next few days. So I'm going to share that with you. Yes, can you see that? Is that okay? Yes. So what you see here is what we call the landing page. So that will be the first page that you land on when you arrive on our hub. And the idea was really to make it friendly for anyone to come in, and to build it as an idea of a village, of a learning village. So on this page, you have different houses. And as you can see, as I scroll over those houses, you have like these little pop-ups that appear, like a resource barn or the agroecology. And here we have territorial food systems and the community-supported fisheries. And here we have community-supported agriculture. And yeah, so the idea is really to raise people's, let's say, interest in exploring and in playing around with that map. And what we did then is to create for each of those houses, and I'm going to click on one there, is to create actually a page where we will display all the courses that will be available. So there's a short description always of the house, what is it about? And as you can see here in the community-supported agriculture, we have our first course that will be launched at the end of the year, which is about food citizens, consumers who are changing the world. Which we are doing in a partnership with some of our member partners from member networks. which will be about engaging people in food communities. So as you can see, you have your, you can click on more, and then you will have like a whole description of the course, about what you will learn. Here's even a little video that was created during that that project that illustrates a little bit more what it means to be a food citizen. You can find the start dates and a bit more information more on the logistics of the course. And as you can see here, here's the important button, register your interest. So that is what I meant with everybody is welcome to join those. So obviously they will be, because we are creating them in specific partnerships and projects, they will be for the project partners. But we would like the audience and the learner community to be as diverse as possible. And that's always a challenge. We're very aware of it. And one of it is definitely language, where we are painfully aware of it, because this is all in English. And we know that this will exclude a lot of people, but we're working on making this hub into a multilingual hub, so that we can be more we can, include more diversity in our course. But it's a process. It uses, obviously we need a lot of resources for that, but we're moving into that direction. So you can see here there is you can get loads of information about the curriculum, what you will learn in each week, as Sam mentioned. So we have this weekly structure. And obviously an important part are then those live sessions where the people really come together, and the face-to-face, even if it's online, the personal exchange, the peer-to-peer exchange can happen, and which is a really important part of the learning that we want to promote here on the hub. Yeah, actually I can show you also. So this is work in progress. So the barn that you have here is a resource barn, and the idea is, as you can see, resources are coming soon. It's not yet active. The idea is that you will find here resources to all the different thematic areas that we're covering. Like, so let's say you would click on agroecology, and you would see all the resources that are available in our database for agroecology, and there will be a possibility to search also with keywords for certain to search for certain keywords, and specific narrow your search to specific resources that you're looking for. So all of this is work in progress, and we are building this really together with our partners through partnerships and projects, and so it will evolve in the next few years, hopefully in a quite active hub in different languages as well. Same for the resources. We want them to be in different languages, so that it is really a resource for the whole CSA community. But yeah, it's very ambitious, but we are confident that we can achieve it. I mean, we are quite a big network of networks, so there are a lot of people in there with a lot of knowledge and a lot of skills, actually, that we hope that we can activate as well once we go live, and we promote that to the wider community, that we hope that people will come in and maybe want to be part of it and help us populating and really bringing this vision alive. And as we heard from Fernanda already, there are quite some needs in the community, and so that gives us a clue that we are on the right path, and that we can actually move towards working with partners. Let's say if we would work with partners in Brazil to develop a Brazilian course, or very specific ones, we're open to suggestions, and we're open to create new partnerships as well for this.
Yeah, very open. And in fact, I think one of the goals of this workshop is to cultivate some feedback, but also make it clear that, Natalie and I were kind of brought on, we were brought on together to kind of create this new vision for a different arm of training at Urgency. But as we begin to emerge out of this, global pandemic, we're realigning our thinking and thinking about ways in which we can use these digital approaches in a blended capacity, more of a hybrid capacity. So how can we support our incredible sort of face-to-face training and activities with our digital tools? And we have some of our own ideas, but we're really interested in hearing what others have to think about ways to bring more of a hybrid approach to training, ways to enrich that experience without or if it is indeed enriching to bring an online element to a face-to-face event. So those are some of the questions that we're just personally interested in talking about, but we're also, very interested in hearing anything you have to contribute. So I think, Ariel, you have your hand up. So come on in, join our discussion.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Sam. Hello to everyone who is here with us today. Be very welcome to Manaus in Brazil again. It's really great to hear from you, Sam, about the learning program, and also to understand a little bit better about the hub. And I'd like to give some feedback about the Portuguese poster session on Tuesday and also yesterday on Latin American meeting, that we are really keen on finding a group of people to help to translate everything to Portuguese and Spanish, and to be really engaged with you, because I think these online tools are really good to spread the movement in here at the point that we are. And we have been some trials. I have been one of the founders of the CSA Brazil formation course. We had like 12 editions until now, from 2014 to 2019, just before the pandemic. So we are not doing it presential anymore. We have done lots of lives and answer to calls to people to spread CSA movement, but there is a lack on training. And now we have experience that's going on. We are forming 30 people on an online program in partnership with TRIAS, which is like, I think it's the European institution that's helping us with the online things, to record things and to give space to have like a live classes, live sessions. So this is our first trial. And I think we need to unite in a group to see how can we help you with the translation. I think Fernanda, just so that she's available as well. I think Ximena also can help us with the Spanish part. So yes, I think this call is really great to hear from us that now that we're getting to a new phase of the CSA movement here in Brazil and also in Latin America, we need to have things that can ease the communication and the access to people to understand the CSA movement and to train farmers and consumers elsewhere. And yeah, that's a really great idea to have, like, to think it for the future, to have it in a hybrid form, like that we could in every region to have some kind of model farm that could be like the open space and field to have the classes. So we can make sure and bring it all together, online training with the physical training. So thank you for the exposition.
Yes, thank you. I mean, it's a really good point where this sort of approach is still really kind of in its infancy. We are, as Natalie mentioned, we're running this food citizenship course at the end of this year. And we hope to get a bunch of feedback after we run that course. We'll actually be running a number of courses in the next 6 months. So we hope to get a bunch of feedback from our live participants. But one of the big challenges that we've identified, that we knew from the beginning, was interpretation and translation, and making sure that these courses are available to not just English speakers. So figuring out solutions for that is, of course, a priority for us. And at the moment, I don't know, Natalie, I'm not sure where we stand on. I think that the courses that we're developing at the moment will likely be English only, but in the future, these are going to exist in perpetuity on this hub that Natalie has showed everyone. And one of the reasons why we created the hub was to make sure that these ideas, these resources, these courses, the knowledge is being created inside projects doesn't end at the end of the project. So it exists on the hub for our networks, for our members, for anyone interested. But to make it truly inclusive, yes, we need to make sure that it's available in multiple languages, which is something we know.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that as well. Like, we've been thinking about the hybrid approach in a way that maybe we can find, because there's also the context which we discussed earlier, which is different in each regional area. And maybe we can find things that are common to most of the, let's say, in the creation of CSAs, or themes that we can apply in different regions, so that let's say the theoretical part can be in the e-learning. And then once you go into the field, as you said, Ariel, when you go to some farms, you can work on the local context and bring in that knowledge. So that might be a way of creating a hybrid form. But yeah, some thought needs to go into that, and we're very open to continuing that discussion. And I'll just call in Jimena, if I said that right. You raise your hand, and then after this it will be Abel.
Jimena, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right either.
It's Jimena.
There we go.
Obrigada. Então,
How do you pronounce your name?
Jimena.
Jimena.
Jimena em Chile. Aqui é Ximena. Então, eu vou falar em português porque acho que o tradutor é em português. Então, eu sou chilena, mas moro aqui há 15 anos, sou agricultora de uma CSA, que avançou para ser uma CSA-ES, Comunidade que Sustenta Educação, Agricultura, Educação e Saúde. Então, dentro da nossa planilha de custos, colocamos também dinheiro para pagar estudantes que queiram fazer estágio remunerado, e também entregamos plantas medicinais. E aqui na fazenda também funciona uma escola Waldorf, de crianças de 7 e 8 anos. Então, tudo acontece junto. E faço parte da diretoria da CSA Brasil. E o ano passado a gente teve todo esse problema da pandemia e a gente não tinha como dar curso. Geralmente os cursos são pagos por as pessoas que participam e outra parte é financiado para agricultores que não conseguem pagar. Aqui, como também acontece na Urgency, a gente não tem adesão financeira de todas as CSAs do Brasil. Então, a Associação Comunitária CSA Brasil sempre está com pouco dinheiro para conseguir pagar essas coisas. Então, o ano passado, eu corri atrás de um financiamento de uma ONG belga, a Trias, que financiou 3 cursos. Por que 3? Porque a gente pensou que só uma formação em CSA, em como formar uma CSA, é muito pouco para que as pessoas consigam enxergar a mudança de paradigma que é necessária para conseguir acompanhar o processo de fazer parte de uma CSA realmente e não estar aí só pelo produto da verdura, né? Que a gente sabe que muitas pessoas só chegam lá porque querem a cesta, mas isso não muda, por favor. E aí, a gente fez um curso de política, outro curso de formação de CSA e outro curso de agricultura biodinâmica. Aí cada curso tem 30 participantes, a gente organizou em 6 sessões e de 3 encontros. Aí a gente utilizou a pedagogia de Paulo Freire para organizar pequenos núcleos, porque dessas 30 pessoas se organizam em 5 pessoas e cada um é um pequeno núcleo para elas terem um contato mais cotidiano, né? E também utilizamos a pedagogia do Rudolf Steiner, basada na pedagogia do fazer. Então, a gente trimembra esse pensar, sentir e fazer. Só que a gente parte no inverso. A gente faz a pessoa primeiro fazer algo, depois trazer o que ele sentiu, e depois a gente vai para o conteúdo teórico. Eu acredito que essa é a grande mudança que a gente precisa. Quando a pessoa fica no mental, é muito difícil ela romper a barreira que já tem dentro dela. Então, por exemplo, eu faço primeiro uma atividade rítmica, que meus filhos me ensinam, de cantar alguma música, de fazer alguma... Frente ao computador é meio diferente, né? Mas a gente, desse jeito, descontrai, movimenta o corpo, e depois a gente vai para fazer um desenho, um poema, ou alguma coisa que traga esse sentimento profundo que vai ser o que vai mobilizar a vontade dentro dos seres humanos. Se a gente não consegue fazer eles tocar esse ponto, é muito difícil que realmente se abram para uma nova forma de relacionamentos. E aí a gente não faz avaliações com uma qualificação, sino que a gente faz, dá trabalhos de feito ou não feito. Então, no meu curso, que eu coordeno o curso de agricultura biodinâmica, uma coisa que a gente faz é mandar sementes pelo correio para as pessoas que moram em apartamento, plantar uma pequena agrofloresta em um vaso de plantas. E elas vão fazendo a observação fenomenológica toda semana do crescimento do vaso. E aí você consegue enxergar a cooperação. Então, isso tem sido muito significativo, e ainda mais no tempo da pandemia, onde as pessoas estavam todas isoladas, muitas pessoas sozinhas num apartamento pequeno, ficando malucas, e isso trouxe um aquecimento no coração delas. E aí a gente conseguiu formar umas pequenas comunidades online, mas com vivências cotidianas e verdadeiras. Porque uma coisa que acontece com o computador, que se você não vivencia realmente isso, desse intercâmbio humano, fica uma coisa muito sistemática e desumanizada. E eu acho que a crise socioambiental que nós vivemos agora é produto disso. Então, eu acho que a gente tem que usar essa ferramenta para conseguir rehumanizar-nos, aceitar nossas individualidades, mas caminhar em coletividade na nossa comunidade. Eu acho que era isso o que eu queria contar, para ver, eu acho que pode acrescentar alguma dessas atividades. E eu estou super disponível para trocar ideias com vocês, mas meu inglês é muito ruim. Mas podemos pedir ajuda aí a Ariel para fazer alguma conversa. Obrigada.
Thank you very much. I really love what you just said and described, and we would be very interested to hear more about the different methodologies that were used there, and so that we could see how we can integrate them. And don't be sorry about your English. We should be sorry about our Portuguese or Spanish.
Yeah, it's that was really wonderful, inspiring, I think, for certainly Nat and myself. And yeah, we would love to be in contact and learn from you. Clearly, you've thought through this very carefully, and you brought a lot of meaning into this, particularly the human element, because I think you're right that there's a dehumanizing element of being so isolated and being so disconnected. So, you know, we tried to think through these questions as well in our approach, but I think, you know, we could learn a lot from you. So thank you very much for sharing.
Abel, you had your hand on for a while as well.
Hello, I'm Abel from Spain. I really congratulations for the platform. I think it's great, very good idea. The landing page, so approach to the people, and also friendly. And yes, I also love the idea of the barn as a database for resources. And I would like to talk about the fact that the reuse of the content that has been made, that is going to be made for the platform, if you're thinking of making it with a standard, like SCORM, a standard in e-learning it gives us the possibility of reusing the content or exporting it to other platforms that other entities might be using, like SCORM. I think that would be very powerful, because maybe we can design a e-learning course, but we can give it to other entities so they can do the same learning in their platforms. Maybe they have their own platforms. If they can import it, they can make their own learnings, and that would be also very useful, because they may contribute to translations or improvements or adding new activities or whatever to the online courses. And that was just the thing I didn't hear about that I would like to discuss with you, to contribute.
Thank you. It's a very good point, and it's something that we've thought about since the beginning, ways to not just make sure that the resources we're collecting in the hub, in the barn, as you mentioned, and the courses we're developing, not only to make sure that they're available in perpetuity, but also to think about ways they can be shared with our networks, with our members, with our allies. You mentioned SCORM, so what we actually walked through that e-course is a SCORM. So we are using so we spent a lot of time, as Nat can attest to, thinking about the tools to use when developing e-learning, and barrier to access was a big part of a big component that informed our decisions. So as you see, the landing page is quite friendly. It's quite engaging. It's sort of warm and inviting, and brings people in. And we wanted our courses to be warm and inviting as well. So we went with certain tools to try to achieve that, and also to be able to share them. So it's as easy as sharing a link to access some of our courses. They can also be embedded in different platforms. As I think you probably know, technically, SCORMs can be exported and uploaded into other LMS platforms. LMS stands for Learning Management Systems. So very common ones are Moodle, Blackboard. We're actually using a Moodle, but yeah, they can be shared amongst our members. And we've also, we chose Moodle, we chose a specific design of Moodle in order to allow for other participants to join in as trainers. So if we give certain credentials, maybe actually Nat might speak a little bit better on this, but we, the platform we actually have gives the authority to others with admin credentials to run courses as facilitators on our platform. So again, it was a big part of the thought process from the beginning, was making sure that this was not just available widely, but also available to engage with for all of our members and to share. But maybe Nat, you can walk through a little bit more carefully the partner program, I think it's called, on Moodle.
Yes, yeah. So as Sam said, we spent really a few months actually researching which platform we should use and which one would be the most open one, but also, as you say, has a lot of compatibility with other things, so that we can share on the network. And so the platform that we are running right now for the courses. So what you saw, actually, what I showed, that is kind of the first access. It's a hub where we describe all the courses, the different thematic areas, just as a first contact for people to get in touch with us. And then after that, we have a second platform, because that's the learning platform, the LMS. And I can maybe share it with you here as well, just a glimpse of it, which we needed to be able to subscribe learners, to manage learners, to see their progress, to be in touch with them, have forums and things like this. So we could not do all on one, which was unfortunate, but I think we managed to find a good compromise. I'm just seeing if I have it open here.
I can share it if you.
Yeah, I think I just need to. So can you see that? Is that the hub now? The LMS? Yeah, so that is basically the Moodle interface. So this would be when people arrive, then when they are subscribed, they went to the hub, they registered their interest, we subscribe them, and this would be the interface on which learners then would be on a daily basis, or on a weekly basis to interact. And that is a Moodle platform where people can come in. They have their own account as well. Now, can I log in here if I have the credentials open? Probably. Let me see. So you have your own account, and for us, it gives us a possibility really to be in touch with all the learners. Because it has calendars, it has also like little playful things like badges and things like this. So, and they could see the whole catalog of courses that we have also here, and subscribe or register directly as well in here. So I can give you a glimpse how that would look like on the platform. So this is a course about land advocacy. And you can see you have basically the content, and then this weekly structure here that we presented, that we saw also on the hub. And then you can basically, if I can open, I'm not sure if one of those is actually active. So you have basically the SCORM is embedded in this platform. So obviously it's not working right now, which is unfortunate when I want to show it to you. But well, this is still a prototype version. It will work. But yeah, so we had to develop these two different things, but as a first point of contact is this hub, and then later when the learners are really learners, they will be interacting on this platform that I just showed on the Moodle platform, and we'll have a forum as well where people can exchange. Because one thing that we don't want is also just to leave people alone on those asynchronous parts. So once they are on the platform and they go through their course, we want them all the time to be active in the forum and to exchange with the other learners, also outside of the live session. So you don't feel alone as a learner. So you have the feeling that there is a learning community around you, and Sam and I will be managing this community and, being there, guiding people through the process. So as you can see, it involves quite a lot in terms of taking care of the learner community as well. And so for us, the next step then going into this partnership, so is still a lot of thinking that needs to go into, like how will the partners actually be able to, can they take over just a whole course and then run it on their own? But they would need to commit then as well to bring all those resources into for that learning community, and eventually we'll need to train them before that. So there's quite a little bit of thought that needs to be done there.
Yeah, as Natalie said, it's the sort of specifics and the actual logistics of bringing in partners to run courses on the platform is, still more of a theoretical thing. But as we both said, the idea of having partners with the ability to do that was from the beginning. That was our idea from the beginning. So now we have the infrastructure to provide for that. We just need to think through the specifics of it. But just to kind of tag onto what Natalie had mentioned, so these two different platforms, ideally, I think we wanted to have one platform, but this was the best way to kind of manage or to capture the vision that we created. And the way we're linking the two platforms is, as Natalie showed on the course pages, instead of registering for a course on the hub, what you do is you register your interest, and then that gives us an understanding of who's interested in participating in which courses, which will let us create these cohorts. So once we have a cohort created for a specific class, then we'll customize the Moodle for each of the learners, so everyone has their own specific profile on the platform that Natalie just showed, and access to all the forums. So we're creating a customized space inside the cohorts on the Moodle platform, and the hub is mainly to give an idea and promote the content that the courses will offer.
I don't know, Abel, did you have another question? I see your hand is still up, but maybe it was still up from.
No?
Yes, and are there any other questions in regards to or maybe if there are other experiences that you would like to share from that you had with e-learning, maybe especially during maybe those COVID times now, and what was good, what was bad, was challenging, and where you see potential maybe.
Well, I have other experiences with the e-learning. I also was the coordinator in the government of my region here. And well, I've got some ideas, but they are related to the courses. So if you have a course prepared, I could contribute with some ideas. Like, for example, the one we just saw, the first thing that our pupils saw in their courses was a video of the teacher making a presentation that will make also an approach, things like those. But for sure, those courses are not ready yet. So for sure, you're thinking on this kind of ideas of making things more, near from one to others. For us to be approached, one to others. I also studied different e-learning platforms apart from Moodle. There was Claroline was one of them, and what was the other? Well, there was some platforms, and the difference with Moodle with the others, that Moodle was defined as social constructivism was the name of the type of learning associated with Moodle. That means that it has forums, very many spaces where people come all together to contribute. For example, in Moodle, students can, for example, rate other students' work if you give them permissions for that or whatever. And the other platforms which were more kind of suitable for big companies, for example, were more guided learnings, which means that you just follow a content and you don't get to one part if you haven't done the other, which it doesn't happen in Moodle. Moodle is kind of a bit messy because you can move from one place to another. And many people, mainly if there are many students in one single course, they don't want that. They want less teachers, more students, so they get guided e-learning platforms like Claroline or, the other was Dokeos. I don't know if you've heard about Dokeos. No? Well, I studied this platform years ago, so it might even change its name, so I don't know. But the thing is that the other e-learning platforms are more guided learnings that students make. Moodle is kind of messy. That has its advantage and disadvantages, of course. And I really love the idea of the use of SCORM, so you can make it even more open source, everything.
Yeah, thank you. As Natalie mentioned, we spent months, researching and trying to determine the best choices for our vision and for our members. And, it's a difficult there were difficult choices to make. And you sort of hit the nail on the head when it comes to what we're trying to do with the platform. And one of the reasons we decided on Moodle was, number one, so we could have this kind of engagement on the platform. So even during the asynchronous periods, we could have forums happening. We could have learners or participants commenting on one another's discussions or their work. But we also sort of chose Moodle for just the muscle of the infrastructure. So much of our courses will be through SCORM, and so much of the actual learning, the asynchronous learning at least, will take place in the SCORMs, and then participants will be redirected back to the platform to do forums and to engage with one another asynchronously. So the actual building of courses will, the vast majority of it will happen in SCORMs and not on Moodle itself, because the Moodle activities and the Moodle sort of tools are a little bit clunky, and they're a little bit dated, and they're a little bit, I don't know if anybody's used Moodle in their university education, but I certainly have, and it's not the most engaging. So we're using a different tool that we can SCORM into. I know we're using this term SCORM a lot that maybe only the three of us are familiar with, but SCORM is essentially just, it's a file that you can transfer between. So you can create a course with a learning, with sorry, what's it called? A course, an author, like a course author, and then you can export it into something like a Moodle. So much of the courses will not be built using Moodle tools, but rather will be these SCORMs, and then Moodle itself will be used mainly for this engagement between the learners. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, yeah, I was just thinking about, that the Moodle really offers like a solid infrastructure, which was really important. And I think that was one of the main reasons why we chose this as well. So, and the possibility to evolve actually. So we will see where it goes. Actually, I'm quite interested to see it evolving, and I'm really happy to hear that. I mean, all those offers that we had like in this session already of people being interested to participate and helping to translate or to be part of it. So I think we might be able at some point to have a little community of people from all the networks where we can really work together to creatively together how and imagine where this will go. And one thing you said, Abel, was that I really liked was this co-creation of knowledge. So, which is really an important part, that we're just not like teaching stuff, but we are co-creating a knowledge, and we're sharing that knowledge over this platform. And this is really an important part of what we do as well. Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we're trying to, that's one of the things that we're really trying to do in the live sessions as well, is bring in SMEs, presenters, people who can share experiences, but also as a way for the participants in the cohort to, be participating as trainers themselves and sharing their own experiences and adding to the actual knowledge of the course. So instead of just receiving and acting as, acting in a student role, having a much more horizontal sort of environment inside the live sessions. So yeah, we're really looking forward to running some of these and getting some feedback. But we have a few minutes left, and I'm not sure if, I don't know, Natalie, what's a good kind of closing question? What do you think?
Well, one thing that we were trying to kind of ask in each session is from our participants is, what do you think urgency should concentrate on? What should be our priority for now, specifically for this e-learning? I mean, I think I heard already a few of the things, but I'd like to just to throw that question out to you. Marcia.
So I'm new to this whole movement, and I'm curious about everything, about how to do things. But one thing that I think will help me to engage and to really start doing things and be active and collaborating, contributing with something to the organization is to know how I can connect with people, to have channels of communication. You gave me already the tip, the hint to look for people locally, but it would be nice to, I mean, I think that when I do some courses, I will contact some of the learners in the cohort. But other than that, I'm always interested in how I can connect to people who are in this movement so that we get inspired and we don't lose the contact and get unmotivated. So to get motivation, inspiration, and to keep going and collaborating. So yeah, ways to contact people and yeah, be part of the group.
Thank you. Yes, Abel.
Well, I think urgency expertise is in CSA management and CSA creation. So that must be the focus from my point of view for the courses. Agroecology, the other also suitable because of the members of urgency. Urgency's members expertise is on agroecology, but urgency itself, its expertise is on CSAs. So that must be the focus from my point of view, which is the mission.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe I can add there that I mean, urgency was, I know we are kind of famous for the CSA, but we actually formed as a network for all kinds of local and solidarity-based partnerships of agroecology. So the LSPAs, yes, which are quite a, not as a known, like term as CSA, but it just opens up much more because CSA is a very narrow kind of type of partnership. So we are also looking into all different kinds of partnerships that are linked to, being in solidarity with the farmers and finding ways in the community to grow food and to reduce, to have shortened supply chains. So that's definitely one of our focus points, yeah, or our focus. Ariel, would you like to add something? Well, what should we focus on?
Priorities, Ariel. What do you think?
It's okay. I think I have made my considerations, and I'm really glad that we could bring this as a part of the symposium, because many people here in Brazil are now interested in the e-learning thing, and we, the older ones that are trying to develop the network and like acting other things. So sometimes we're a really bit pushed that we cannot answer people by a distance, and we lack of the training program because we're waiting for the pandemic. So I think we just have a presential next year. So I really think that I'm really happy actually to see that Mexico has a training program as well, and they're looking for e-learning tools as well. And yes, I'm here to help whatever you need in Portuguese or in Spanish.
Thank you. Yes, so this is all noted for us to bring forward to in the General Assembly.
Yes, indeed. We have just a couple of minutes if anyone wants to add any final thoughts, or I believe you still have your hand raised. I don't know if you want to contribute something else. No? Okay. Well, I think this is really, I mean, this is very good discussion for myself and Nat, as we, as we continue our journey with e-learning. And I think there's a lot of, great feedback shared with us, and a lot of sort of interest in helping and supporting us too, which is, wonderful and lovely to hear. But yeah, as we said, particularly Marcia, the communication channels, I know it's not always perfect, but you can certainly reach out to us. You can reach out to Contact at Urgency. We encourage you to, research in your own area as well, but we'd be happy to help at the same time. But we want to thank you for joining us today to talk about digital tools and e-learning here at Urgency. And is there anything else you want to add, Nat?
Oh, yes, thank you very much to the interpreters for being here with us and and helping us out here. Yeah, and I wish you all wherever you are, like a good evening, a good morning, or like a good afternoon.
Morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here, and yes, a big thank you to the interpreters. Doing a great job during the symposium. We really are grateful. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll turn off interpretation. Yeah. Thank you, Ivan. Ivan.
Okay. Cool.
Well, I'll stop recording. Is it still recording? Yes.
Oh, yeah, true.